How's it going, everyone? I am back with another video. This is going to be this is kind of the first video type where I'm only predicting some of the games in a video format. Usually for all the Thursday games, I just do an article because usually there's only one game every Thursday, the Thursday night game. But obviously it's a bit different this week. We get the Thanksgiving games tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving, by the way. So there's three Thanksgiving games tomorrow, and then there's the Black Friday game with the Raiders and the Chiefs. So I figured it's probably just easier if I do a quick video to just talk about and predict the games of these four games rather than write four separate articles because it's kind of a pain in the ass to do articles or write the articles, and well, it's just easier to talk about it rather than type it, I guess. And B, it's just easier, time consuming. I write It would be time consuming if I wrote four separate articles, so I figured I'd just do a video format, just probably a quick video. It's only four games, but I figured I'd just do it anyway because yeah, just think it works better, I guess. So anyway, I'll just dive straight into the four games we got. So the first one is Bears Lions at about 12:30. I'm gonna pick the Lions in this game. I mean, the Lions are just the better team. Their offense is better, their defense is better, their coaching's better. The only thing that really my gut is telling me the Bears have a chance in this game is, well, their offense has been playing better. They're a lot since the coordinator changed. The Lions defense, or sorry, not the Lions. The Lions in general are just due for a slip up. But again, I don't think that's going to happen because last Thanksgiving, the Lions, I think they even talked about themselves. They may have underestimated the Packers a bit last year, and the Packers won that game. I think they only won by one score, but they were in control most of that game. The Lions did not really play that great Thanksgiving last year, and they were just pissed off at themselves that they dropped that game. So the Lions really going to let them, and also the Packers had a bunch of injuries going in that game last year. They were only 4-6. So I think the Lions, again, I think the players may have talked about it too, that they maybe a bit underestimated them, especially because they swatted them in Green Bay earlier on a Thursday night game that prior to the Thanksgiving, I think it was like week 4 or 5 they played. I think it was week 5 they played on Thursday night last year. The Lions won that game. They got out to a lead early. Packers cut into the lead a little bit, and then the Lions ended up just holding on. They won by multiple scores. So maybe that's why they underestimated them a little bit. But I don't think my point is, I don't mean to get too hot topic. My point is, I don't think the Lions are going to do the same thing this year. I think they're going to really be motivated to win a Thanksgiving game, especially, you know, they're the far better team, as I just mentioned. The Bears have really struggled since that Hail Mary play. I talked about it that I didn't think that was going to derail their season. It's looking like it has, unfortunately, for the Bears. Just I don't know, just not much logically is suggesting the Bears can win this game. Except they're just going to have like a game like the Packers did in Thanksgiving last year, where it's just like a randomly good game when the team's coming in struggling, not playing great football. I mean, I don't know. I just think the Lions going to be really well prepared to play this game, and they're going to win. I don't want to say convincingly, but I think they'll win by a good margin. The only thing that I'm a little hesitant on is the Bears. If they win, I think their defense is going to have to have a really good game. Which the Bears' defense, when they played the Lions, both games last year, played very well against the Lions. The Bears honestly should have swept the Lions last year. The first game in Detroit, the Bears were in control. The Lions were not playing that great. They were up 2 scores with like 3 minutes left. The Lions ended up scoring. I think, yeah, I think the Lions scored like 3.5 minutes left, something like that. They forced a punt, then they got the ball back and scored again, and then they even got a safety. Then the Bears did beat them in Chicago. They had control of that game, won, by fairly, I don't think by a big margin, but they won fairly, comfortably. The game in hand. So the Bears honestly should have swept them last year. They split. The Bears should have won both games. So Matt Eberflus, maybe, he probably must know he's on the hot seat. The Bears defense has been playing great the past couple weeks. It's fell off a bit since the Hail Mary. Maybe it gets back to form as, how it was played earlier in the year in this game. But yeah, I think that's really the only realistic scenario the Bears win this game is if their defense just plays a really good game. Goff maybe a bit sloppy with the ball, throws a pick. The Lions get some fumbles. Maybe Goff fumbles it. The Bears offense is just going to have to have a randomly good game. So yeah, I just feel pretty confident with the Lions in this game. 97% of people in my league are picking the Lions too. Let me see the spread on this game actually. Let's see. Lions are favored by 9.5. I would say that's a big spread, obviously, and the Bears aren't horrible, but I would say that's probably a fair spread for how I think this game's going to go. I'm going to say the Lions' offense is a good game. Their defense plays good. I think the Bears' offense probably has a couple of drives that looks good. I think the Bears' offense is going to have a rough game. I think the Bears' defense is going to have it's going to play similar to how it has the past couple weeks, where the Lions probably going to score somewhere in the 20s, but maybe probably not in the 30s. Who knows though? With this Lions team, they're capable of scoring big on anyone. So yeah, I think the Bears defense was not great but not horrible game. Bend but don't break type of game probably. So I'm gonna say the Lions take this game. I'm gonna say 28 to. I'll say 28 14, 28 17, something like that. Do I want to see the Bears score 14 or 17 points? I'll say the Bears score. What the hell? I'll give the Bears the 3 point. I'll say the Lions take this game 28-17. Oh boy. Giants Cowboys right at the not the primetime game slot, but right at the primetime slot where, most families are probably going to be wrapping up their meals. They're going to be, turn the TV on, looking at the game, watching as a family. And we got in that time slot Tommy DeVito versus who, by the way, might not even play. So it might be Drew. He's hurt. He's questionable. It might be Drew Lock versus Cooper Rush. That literally, I don't think can be much of a worse quarterback matchup for the NFL during a time slot like this. I'm sure it's going to get a very high viewership just because of the time slot, it being the Cowboys. Everyone's good spirits, family together, things like that. But yeah, I'm pretty confident with the Cowboys in this game. I honestly think Drew Lock is better than Tommy DeVito. I think they just should have started Drew Lock last week. I think he's better than Tommy DeVito. Gives them a better chance to win. So if Drew Lock honestly starts, I think that's an upgrade. Regardless, I'm pretty confident with the Cowboys anyway. They got a big win against the Commanders last week to pretty much keep their season alive. I don't think they'll be making the playoffs at all, but I think they're going to win this game, so that'll bring them to 5-7. So who knows? Maybe they somehow get on a hot streak, make some noise. Giants are just an absolute dumpster fire. Their offense and coaching offensively is just an absolute disaster right now. The quarterback play is a disaster. Their line's a disaster. Just everything is a disaster for the Giants. I don't know if I said disaster that much in like a 20-second time span, but I don't know. I just said it a lot. The Giants defense, it was playing good for part of the year early on towards the middle of the year. It's played pretty bad the past couple weeks. Well, I guess it played decent against Carolina, but last week it played horrible against the Bucs. Cooper Rush he looked better against the Texans, obviously, than he did against the Eagles. I think he actually played a decent game against the Texans. They obviously lost by 24, it's 34-10, so he didn't obviously play good. But I thought he played a lot better that game in comparison to the Eagles game, and I thought he actually played a pretty good game last week against Washington. So he's getting better and better, going up against a struggling defense. The Cowboys are at home Thanksgiving, even though they, lose games like this sometimes to bad teams. Usually Thanksgiving they win most of the time. They played the Giants, I believe both of last year. They played the Giants last Thanksgiving. blanking here. Okay, yep, I need to look this up. Now I'm losing my mind. I know they played them 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. Okay, here we go. Thanksgiving game. Oh, that's sorry. Give me 1 sec, guys. Come on, come on, come on. They played the Commanders on Thanksgiving. That's right. Okay, now I remember that game. That was when they Diggs wrote the pick six record. Okay, now I'm remembering that game. Okay, so they played the Giants 2 years ago on Thanksgiving. That was the Giants kind of their magical season they had 2 years ago. You know, going in that game, they were kind of struggling a bit. They were on a win streak. But the Cowboys took care of business. That game, I just think they take care of business game. Even though the Cowboys have obviously not been very good this year, been pretty bad actually. They're just a better team than the Giants. They're at home Thanksgiving. I think their offense is a good game. Their defense, I think, is a good game. Giants' offense, I think, is a rough game. I think their defense is a rough game. I could see it being close early on. Giants' defense keeps it close. I think the Cowboys pull away. I think they win fairly comfortably. I feel pretty confident in that. I'll say the Cowboys win this game. Say 24 to I'll say 24-13. I could see 21-13, but I honestly feel like the Cowboys are going to win by more than one score. I'll say 24-13 Cowboys. Could see maybe even the Cowboys putting up a bit more, maybe 27. Beyond that, I mean, of course, it could happen. I could see a scenario where the Cowboys just go off offensively. I think they score 24-27, somewhere in that range. I'll say 24-13 Cowboys. I honestly think 13 might be even generous for the Giants. Oh boy. Yeah, I'll say 24-13. Now I kind of want to say 24-10, but I'll just say 24-13. Cowboys take it on Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving game, the Dolphins and Packers. I will probably be enjoying this game with my leftover apple and pumpkin pie that my grandfather always makes. He makes very good pumpkin and apple pie, so I'll probably be enjoying those leftovers during this game. I am going to pick the Packers in this game. This I definitely think is probably the best game, at least on paper, out of the three Thanksgiving games. Other the Bears Lions could be interesting too. I really don't think this game's going to be very interesting, at least on paper, obviously. So on paper, I think Dolphins Packers is definitely the best game out of the three for Thanksgiving. Dolphins are red hot. They've won 3 in a row. They're making a playoff push. Their defense has been picking up, playing well. Tua in the offense been playing well. But I'm going to pick the Packers in this game. If this was in Miami, I would have a more difficult time. I would probably still pick the Packers if it was in Miami. But I feel more confident that it's in Green Bay. Narrative going into this game is the cold weather. I almost said cold weather. Cold weather in Green Bay at Lambeau Field, obviously. Dolphins have not played very well in cold weather games for the most part the past couple of years. So, you know, Tua said at a press conference the other day, he said, yeah, let's get it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. So it'll be interesting to see how the Dolphins play in the cold weather at Lambeau. Packers obviously are used to that. That's an advantage to them there. I just think the Packers offense is going to have I think the Packers offense will have a solid game in this one. I think the Dolphins I think this game will be close, like entirely, but I think the Packers offense is a good game, and I think the Dolphins defense is going to have a good game too, where it keeps it close, and I think it has a couple drives where they just look good, the Dolphins defense, but I think the Packers offense is going to do enough to get this to win the game for the Packers. I think the Packers defense also kind of has a solid game, but I think the Dolphins offense has a solid game too. I know it doesn't make too much sense. I just think the Dolphins can have I guess, mixed offensive game is a better way to put it. I think they have some drives where they look good, move the ball, but I think for the most part, the Packers defense is going to be able to get stops when they need to. So yeah, am looking forward to this game. The Packers defense, I'm a big fan of what Jeff Hafley has done with the defense this year. Uh, Not that it matters too much, but 2 years ago, when these teams played on Christmas Day, I also picked the Packers in that game. They were underdogs in that game. That was when they started to get hot. The Dolphins were on a bit of a losing streak. We're kind of struggling a little bit, but I picked the Packers in that game. The Packers defense played fairly well in that game. That was with Joe Barry, who I think, who I actually think Joe Barry got too much hate with the Packers. I don't think Joe Barry was great, but I think he got a bit too much hate. I think he deserves a little bit more credit than what he got. But I think Jeff Hafley is definitely an upgrade over him. And again, that was 2 years ago. Obviously, two completely different teams, completely different scenario now. But my point is, if a worse version of the Packers defense with a lesser, again, I don't want to hate on Joe Barry, but a lesser coordinator than what the Packers have now shut down pretty much the same Dolphins offense we see now, at least schematically. You know, you get Hill, Waddle, Tua. It's the big three for the Dolphins, obviously. So I think with that in mind, the Packers defense plays, and that was in Miami on the road. This is at home prime time. The Packers usually play well at home in prime time and take care of business. The Dolphins, I definitely could see them winning the game. I think if the Dolphins do win the game, their offense is just going to have a good game, and I think their defense will have a good game where they maybe hold the Packers to field goals. I think the Dolphins win this game. I think their defense plays similar to how it did against the Rams, where the Rams had portions of the game where the ball was getting moved on the Dolphins defense, but the Dolphins defense clamped up in the red zone, held the Rams to nothing but field goals. I think the Packers probably get at least 2 touchdowns in this game if I had to predict. So I think that's the key to the Dolphins winning is their defense just going to have a pretty good game, and their offense. I don't know. I just think their offense is going to have a mixed game in this one. I feel fairly decent with the Packers. I'd probably say like a 65-35 confidence level for the Packers for me. I'm going to say the Packers win this game. I'll say 24 to I'll say 24-17. I could see 24-20, 27-20, some all those scores like that. I'll say Packers win this game 24. Hmm. I'll say 24-17, but I kind of want to say 24-20. I'll say 24-17 Packers win this game. Very much looking forward to it though. I try to go over scenarios where each team wins, how each team can win every game for every game I talk about in this channel. But I don't think I went over that with the Giants. Again, I really don't see them winning this game. But if they do, I think their defense is gonna. Maybe I did. I don't remember now. Maybe their defense. I think their defense is just gonna have to ball out, and their offense is just gonna have like a randomly good game where Walk or DeVito, whichever one's in there, just goes off. Maybe Tracy has a good run game. I mean, I could see that. The Cowboys defense is definitely vulnerable to the run. It's not been good this season. It played good last week, maybe, and it played good against the Giants in the first matchup, and that game was close. But a lot has happened since then. It's obviously a different matchup now. But yeah, I think the Giants are just going to have a randomly good offensive game. I think the run. I could see a scenario with a Walk or DeVito. There's just guys open and they maybe get out to a lead early, and it's like a bit surprising. I don't know. I just feel pretty. That's going to be the key for the Giants. Just a random good offensive game. Defense going to have to play good, but I just feel good with the Cowboys. Yeah, I was talking about this game. I just was randomly when I was talking about this game remembered that I get a breakdown of how the Giants can win. Okay, Black Friday game, last one. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm picking the Chiefs here. Uh, Obviously, these teams match up on Christmas Day last year, and the Raiders pulled off the upset, which pretty much no one was expecting. So maybe that is possible to happen in this game. And it was Aiden O'Connell that pulled off the upset last year, even though he didn't do too much. He went like over an hour of real life time without like completing a pass or something crazy like that, and they ended up winning the game. I don't think he's going to be able to get away with that in this game. But Aiden O'Connell's in there with or at least I think he's expected to start. I don't know if they've officially announced he's going to start. I think he's expected to start. Um, I guess I'd prefer if he was in there over Desmond Ridder. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are obviously just the better team. Their offense better, defense better, coaching's better. Antonio Pierce literally just said at his press conference, or not just said, but he said at his press conference that, he got up there, he's like, all right, best team versus the worst team in football. Like, that's, I mean, I don't think he's wrong. I don't think the Raiders are the worst team in football, but I understand what he's saying, but I don't think he's wrong, but you can't really say that as a coach, especially when you're the head coach of the team you're proclaiming, there we go, is the worst team in football. That's an interesting tactic there. I saw Raiders fans were not too happy with that comment. One Pierce gone. Um, but yeah, I just think the Chiefs take care of business in this game. I could see it being close. Except these two teams played a couple weeks ago and it was close. The Raiders were leading that game, and it was very close up until the fourth quarter. The Chiefs kind of pulled away. Then the Raiders got a touchdown late, made it a one-score game, more respectable. But I just think the Chiefs take care of business in this game. I think they're in control. I think their offense is a good game. I think their defense is a good game. Raiders offense, I think, has a rough game. Probably has a couple of drives where it maybe gets a couple first downs. I just think the Raiders offense is a really rough game. Raiders defense, I think, will have a rough game, but that'll be the key for the Raiders. Is I think their defense is just going to have to play really well. It played well last week and has played well at portions of this year, and it played well against the Chiefs through portions of the first matchup. I think it's just going to have a really good performance. I honestly think for the Raiders to win this game, their defense is going to have to play like as well as it did Christmas Day last year against Kansas City. But honestly, I think the Chiefs are obviously well aware of the upset that the Raiders had over them on Christmas Day last year in at Arrowhead. So I think they're probably going to be extra motivated in addition to obviously a division rivalry and not liking the Raiders at all. This is like especially a division rivalry. These two teams do really, really do not like each other. So I think the Chiefs, again, on a holiday at home, they really are going to be extra motivated to avenge their holiday loss at home from last year. And obviously, the Chiefs know they're the better team. They should take care of business. Yeah, I think the Chiefs take care of Jesus. I'm all over the place right now. I just recorded my week 12 recap video, so my friggin' throat is killing me. I was just talking for like an hour and a half, and it's currently 12:32 in the morning as I'm recording this, so maybe I'm losing my mind a bit here. But anyway, I just think the Chiefs take care of business and win this game fairly convincingly. I'm going to say they win this game 27. I'll give the Raiders 13. I'll say 27-13. Yeah, the Raiders, I mean, last year they had a solid run game, if I remember, against the Chiefs. I mean, and that was a big part of why they won the game. Again, I mentioned the Aiden O'Connell didn't complete a pass for like over an hour or something crazy like that. Well, the problem is the Raiders have absolutely zero run game. It's historically bad this year. So, and the Chiefs are just a really good, stout defense. So I really don't see that happening. I'll be pulling for the Raiders. Hopefully I'm wrong. But also I'm this game, I mean technically Black Friday is a holiday. I mentioned a holiday game, but obviously Thanksgiving I think is more of a holiday feel than Black Friday. But anyway, I think the same logic matters anyway, what I was saying. But yeah, hopefully I'm wrong. I'll be pulling for the Raiders. I just think the Chiefs take care of business convincingly. They'll win 20 by more than one score. I feel pretty good about it. I'll say 27-13. So yeah, again, I'll predict the rest of these games. I'll do my week 13. I can't believe we're already on week 13 picks video where I break down the rest of these games. I'm just doing these couple now for the Thursday and the Black Friday game. Yeah, I'm doing a bit better with I didn't do a lot good last week. I only went 9-4, which again, not abysmal, but not great. I'm about in the 92 percentile of your roundup here. So I started off rough, but I've been doing pretty good with my picks since then. So hopefully I can keep it up this week. feel pretty confident with all of these picks, really, except, I mean, I feel really confident with the Chiefs. If I did do how confident I was, I would probably say Cowboys. Um, I'd probably say Cowboys, Chiefs. I think the Raiders have a better chance at upsetting the Chiefs and the Giants. To the Cowboys, I'd probably say Cowboys, Chiefs, Lions, Packers for how confident I am in my picks and if I had to rank them. I definitely think the Bears could pull off the upset. I don't think it will happen. I feel pretty good with the Lions. I guess that's kind of contradicting myself, but whatever. Definitely could see the Dolphins pulling off the upset here, though. But yeah, good slate of games, really. I mean, I think even this game, I'll be watching all these games anyway, but I think this game, I think in terms of quality, it's probably obviously going to be the worst one, at least on paper, but I think it'll still be entertaining. Again, everyone's going to be in a feel good mood, probably just finishing up, spending time with family. Maybe that'll add to the quality of this game. But anyway, hopefully you guys have a great holiday. I wish everyone a great Thanksgiving. Black Friday, if you guys are in the Black Friday, hopefully you get whatever you're trying to get for Christmas the following month. Again, but it's already friggin' Christmas soon. My God. But good luck Black Friday shopping, I guess. Hopefully you guys all have a happy Thanksgiving. Get some delicious food. Spend some time with your family and friends. And yeah, hopefully everyone's a good time. Thank you for tuning into this video. Hopefully these are good games on top of Thanksgiving. And yeah, thank you for tuning in this video. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy and have a good Thanksgiving. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.